Good morning everyone, David Lang here with my weekly fireside chat. Hope you're all doing okay today. First and foremost, I just wanted to say thank you to all of those that sent me messages of support this week. This week was the first anniversary, or what we call the Yahrzeit in Judaism, of my dear late wife Ahava Emunah Lang, who passed away. The Hebrew date was this week, I should say. The English date is coming up in the first week of August or so. I want to thank everyone that sent messages of support and love. I read each and every one of them. I might not have responded to each and every one of them. It's been very difficult, but I just want you all to know that I read them, and I thank each and every one of you that reached out. I thank all of you that reached out also to express concern and see if this fireside chat was going to happen today, because I'm running a little bit late. And some of you, my friend Ariel Jalali comes to mind, thought that maybe it's because things have been just too emotional and I wasn't going to do it today. But I need to do this. I want to do this. It's helpful. It's healthy. It's therapeutic actually to be able to speak while I'm in my I don't want to say safe space, but actually my happy place. My happy place is in front of a grill. To be honest. And I love grilling, and I'm in front of the grill right now, and to speak to you guys and about things that matter to me, that it actually does help me. Hopefully I'm promoting messages which are helpful to people and can be spread. But at the end of the day, I think it also helps me. So it's not completely altruistic in motive, to be honest. So yeah, I'm just running a bit late today. Yesterday was a fast day, Tisha B'Av in the Jewish calendar. We fasted all day. Mourning the destruction of the two temples, and all sorts of crazy, horrible things have happened in Jewish history. Look it up. This isn't about Tisha B'Av, but one important thing about Tisha B'Av is that we're mourning the destruction of the temples thousands of years later. So if that doesn't show you that we belong to this land, then I don't know what does. So to anyone that has doubts that we're indigenous to this land, just Google Tisha B'Av and read about it, and hopefully that should convince you that basically we belong to this land. I don't know any other people in the world, on the planet, that will be mourning the destruction of two temples that actually stood here thousands of years ago. Of course, there's a mosque that stands in the place of the temple, and I trust that God will let things work out. I don't think anyone should sort of hasten that process except by doing good deeds and being good. We should all be good to each other. That should happen anyway. Okay, so I'm here, and what I want to talk about today is anti-Semitism. Oh, surprise, surprise. Bit of a pet topic, but actually today I want to talk about a few small victories that have happened this week in the fight against online anti-Semitism. And my dog has a lot to say about it as well, apparently, but sorry, dogs are not allowed here. Okay, so basically, first and foremost, so at the beginning of the week we had, and maybe you're all aware of this already, we had this guy called Wiley. He's a grime rapper. I keep saying Grim Reaper for obvious reasons, but he's a grime rapper. I don't know what that is. It's a certain type of rap. And basically he came out with a 48-hour or so extravagant anti-Semitism extravaganza, and he's still doing this. He's still blabbing on about it. All sorts of crazy anti-Semitic stuff. So this was actually the straw that broke the camel's back for many in UK Jewry. And then they, and a number of celebrities actually, Tracy Ullman is one that comes to mind, decided that it would be a good idea to have like a 48-hour blackout of Twitter. So Jews and their allies could walk away from Twitter from 48 hours to make a point. And it was a PR exercise. And and I joined it because it is valuable as a PR exercise. Now, and it's actually worked, because what happened was, in the short term at least, this Wiley, he's been banned from social media. I'll get into internet censorship in a minute. That's not the really important thing. The really important thing is that it's created more awareness about anti-Semitism on social media. And that was all what it was about. And just a few words now with some of our allies that thought it was a silly idea And they decided, you had certain people, mainly Jews actually, that said, no, I'm going to stay here and man the fort because there are going to be anti-Semites that are going to be here and they're going to be more powerful than ever. Things like that. Because there aren't going to be Jews here or, people fighting anti-Semitism. I'm going to man the fort. Okay, so I'm going to give, as we say, doing the kaf zchut, which means to give the benefit of the doubt here, that these people aren't virtue signaling. You think that anti-Semites really care whether there are Jews there or not to rebut their arguments? I mean, it's absolutely, they're going to do what they're going to do anyway, okay? So your presence there, sorry to break it to you, wasn't making any difference in the mind of the anti-Semites. But again, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt that you have good intentions. But I believe, if you, and again, I always talk about this, think strategically, okay? Don't always try to be right, try to be smart. Okay, I said this last week, and this is a prime example of this. Being smart was to promote this walkout, because if you look at the big picture, you see that there's a lot of publicity, made all sorts of news outlets, and as a result, not only was Wiley banned from these social media, Twitter, Instagram, he keeps popping up like a whack-a-mole, but not only that, but they're trying to address it, or at least we hope they do. And not only that. So David Duke, the white supremacist, the KKK wizard from way back, but he's still promoting anti-Semitism, he's been banned also. So it's a process that's going on, that they're banning these people that are promoting anti-Semitism. Now, just a few words about internet censorship. I'm not for censorship, okay? I'm not the sort of person that when I see anti-Semitism, I'm pressing the report button and trying to get these people banned. I try to, as you know, make an example of these people, and I actually expose them. And I think that's very useful. So I don't like them being banned, at least straight away. Where the line is crossed is when they're inciting racial hatred to the point of violence. And Wiley definitely was doing that. So I'm okay with him being banned. But in general, I think it's better to use the posts of these people against themselves to make a point, and not just to ban them straight away. So I'm against censorship in that way. But in this particular case, because he was inciting violence, I think it was the right thing to do. Okay, so this was a small victory of sorts, I believe. Oh, and I want to address another point. So there were people, mainly in the black community and their allies, that said, well, the Jews are racist and their allies are racist because it's a black guy's anti-Semitism that you guys flag, and when other white supremacists were doing it, you didn't do anything, and that's not true. This was literally the straw that broke the camel's back. And he went on a 48-hour rant, 48 plus hours, and he's still going as we speak, probably. So that's really what it is. And anyone that brings up this argument, I'm sorry, that's disingenuous. And I believe you don't care about anti-Semitism. If you bring out, and many of the people, and I notice this, I'm not stupid, that people bring up that argument, they don't care about anti-Semitism more or less. I mean, in general. These are people that are trying to score little points against you. And I've been subjected to this as well. I pointed out an anti-Semitic comment yesterday on Twitter, and someone said, "Oh, but you're anti-black." And I said, "Look, I'm against discrimination of blacks. Anyone that's following these fireside chats and follows my writings knows I am. But if you point out anti-Semitism, that doesn't make you anti-black. And if you point out anti-Semitism of black people, it doesn't make you anti-black. Okay, so don't be disingenuous about it." Okay, so that was a small victory, as I mentioned. The fact that social media are more aware of this anti-Semitism and trying to act. Now, I want to go to a second instance of and I say small victory because this war will not be won. It might never be won actually until the Mashiach, the Messiah, comes. But it is a small victory against online anti-Semitism. So there's a member of the Knesset. I think her name is Michal Kotler-Wunsch. Apologies if it's Wunsch and I said it wrong. And she basically held a Knesset session. She's the new Minister of Strategic Affairs, okay? The Minister of Strategic Affairs, or the Ministry of Strategic Affairs, has been working with pro-Israel activists for a number of years now under Gilad Ardan. He was the one that started it. I've spoken about it here before. I believe that they should actually be funding Israel activists like myself and many, many others, and I'm not going to back down from that. I haven't received, despite the anti-Semites' claims, I haven't received a cent from the Israeli government for doing what I do, and I'm still going to do it, whether or not I'm paid. But I believe, and whatever, this isn't the day to talk about this necessarily, but again, they put a lot of money into their own social media, which just amplifies messages that many of us actually start. And I think that's a waste of money. I think that you should be promoting those people out there that have a good sense of anti-Semitism and how to fight it online, and, you know, send us a few shekels. Okay, but that's neither here nor there for this topic right now. Anyway, so she started the Knesset session and invited the Twitter representative to it, and had some pretty good results. My friend Arsen Ostrowski, hi Arsen, if you're there. Arsen has grill envy. Every time he sees this, he's always asking to be invited over. You will be invited over at some point, Arsen. Don't worry about that, especially after your question in the Knesset session, which I'll get to in a minute. But I want to say my first reaction when I saw this was, wait, there was a Knesset session on online anti-Semitism and I wasn't invited? That's sort of like having a Happy Days reunion without inviting the Fonz. Mind you, unlike the Fonz, I haven't jumped the shark just yet. Be that as it may, and all joking aside, so Arsen articulated a question which, with all due respect to my friend Arsen, was an obvious question, but with all due respect to Arsen, he articulated it fantastically. And that was pointing out the hypocrisy of Twitter. And basically, his point was, you have Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, he's made some comments, including one which, if there's looting, then the shooting starts, and that was flagged by Twitter. But on the other hand, you've got the Ayatollah Khomeini in Iran, who's been putting forward and tweeting all sorts of anti-Semitic genocidal tweets, basically saying he's going, you know, like genocidal tweets against Israel, and they just called it saber rattling. When Arsen asked the question, why you have this double standard, they doubled down, and the Twitter representative said, well, we distinguish between, you know, mere saber rattling and real kind of political tweets. So kol hakavod to Arsen for articulating that question so well. As I mentioned, I think it's a question many of us could have asked, but you know, you articulated that fantastically, and it's made the front page of all sorts of news outlets. So there is that, let's say, awareness out there. Now, Twitter have doubled down. They haven't changed their policies, but I do believe this is a small victory against online anti-Semitism, because it is out there and it's made the front page of all sorts of news outlets, and the hypocrisy is there for all and sundry to see. So that's the second, let's say, small victory against online anti-Semitism. Now, if a member of Knesset, Michal Kotler-Wunsch is watching this, I know you follow me on Twitter, please invite me to next week's, or whenever the next session is, because I think I have what to contribute to the discussion. Okay, and the third one, let's call it a more micro-level victory. And those of you who read my blog would have seen it already, but I just want to, you know, it's filled me up with a bit of pride and joy. So as you know, I have a regular feature, Anti-Zionist, Not Anti-Semite, of the day, in which I expose online anti-Semites with their own public Facebook posts. So it's all done legally. I find this scum and villainy. I have my ways, and then I just basically republish their posts with a bit of biting commentary. And they, funnily enough, a lot of the time they don't, well, actually all the time, they don't like the fact that I'm giving more exposure to their posts, which are public anyway. And I've discussed this before. And almost always, and until a few days ago, it was always they double down, they attack me, they attack my family, they're not repentant at all. But something happened this week which sort of got me thinking that maybe there is hope. Because normally, actually, with these posts, I'm actually, my target audience are not the anti-Semites themselves. I've given up hope for them. They're like so hardcore. And I'm actually targeting, or my target audience are reasonable people that might, you know, be on the fence somewhat when it comes to Israel. And I want to show that actually, invariably, those who oppose Israel, who are anti-Zionists, are actually anti-Semitic, that they're triggered, or let's say motivated by actual hatred of Jewish people, and I exposed their posts. Now what happened was, one of the people that I highlighted not that long ago actually contacted me, and I've got the whole email exchange on my blog post, which is, you know, quite recent if you haven't read it already. But he basically seemed very sincere. He said, listen, I found out that you put a blog post about me online, and I should have been angry, but I started thinking, and basically did some soul searching, or at least that's what he claimed. And we've gone back and forth, and I'm not going to accept someone's apology. I'm not stupid. I wasn't born yesterday. He might be scared for his business. He's not employed by anyone else. He has his own business. So he definitely might be scared by the fact that his business might suffer by, if you Google his name, you see my post right up there. But the way that he reacted, I mean, my intuition is that he's being sincere. And it sounds like he's had discussions with his wife. He's got like a newborn child. Or a child that wasn't born that long ago, and his wife doesn't approve of the hate mongering that he was promoting online. And it turns out that he's very anti-communist. And then he read Henry Ford's International Jew, and he went down this sort of rabbit hole. But now he realizes, according to him, after my post sort of, let's say, shook him into action, because he realized, oh wait, I do believe that initially it was like, oh my God, I'm going to suffer because of this. But it sounds to me like in this exchange, that he's being honest about the fact that he did wrong. And what I've said to him is, listen, I'm willing to take down my post, but I'm going to, one, publish this exchange, which I've done, and two, you're going to publish a public apology on your Facebook, which he promises to do. He can't do it because he's been banned for one of his posts, which were, very hate-mongering. But if you read the exchange, I mean, I wasn't born yesterday. I believe he's been sincere. I believe, I was really testing him. I was pushing back. I wasn't accepting his apology straight away. I was saying, listen, why did you do this? But if this is true, then why were you, anti-black? And he had answers for everything. And he said, listen, I'm ashamed of myself. And I only want to promote unity from now on. Please, accept my apology. I understand. And it turns out that, he's like an acolyte of Ayn Rand, who happened to be Jewish, and many other thought leaders that were Jewish, and without even realizing it. And he sort of, I think he went down this rabbit hole with Henry Ford book and the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. He said he now realizes that the protocols are an anti-Semitic forgery. So I'm willing, again, and like I spoke about last week with Nick Cannon, I'm willing to give people a chance. It's a really Jewish value, okay, repentance, teshuvah. And anyway, if I'm putting so much stuff online, if I don't believe in the ability of people to change their thoughts, then why am I doing it? What's the point? Otherwise, I'm just an echo chamber. I'm just sort of trying to, I'm a populist. I'm trying to just get likes from people that think the same way as me. But I'm actually trying to influence people. So I'm willing to give him a chance. He's promised. And again, I've said to him, listen, I want you to, when the ban on your posting ends, I want you to please post publicly this apology. He says, no worries, I'm going to do it. So I'm just going to monitor that. He said he's going to send me the link. So I'm hoping, and I do believe, that this is a small victory against online anti-Semitism. And it's definitely encouraged me, because I really didn't think that was possible, that people would actually, from one of those posts, start to see the light and realize that what they were doing was so wrong, and that their whole thought process was wrong. So there are a number of things I wanted to talk about this week. Again, it's the usual topic that I'm speaking about every week, anti-Semitism. I wish it would go away. I could talk about, cricket or football. Maybe I'll do that next week. I don't know. But, these are things we have to, let's say, acknowledge when we have small victories as well, and look at the positives as well. Okay, so that's what I want to talk about this week. Take care, everyone, and I hope everyone's healthy and safe. Have a great weekend. Shabbat Shalom to all of you. And take care until next week, hopefully. Bye-bye.